Truth for the battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and I'm in the WYSL studio with Bob Savage.
Shalom, aloha.
So we have a lot to get through today, a lot of really cool and exciting stuff coming up. I'm going to give you guys just a little brief overview of what we're going to talk about today. First and foremost, at some point during the show, Jim Ostrowski is going to call in. He was the attorney for Ben Wassell in the SAFE Act case. Jim and I go way back. He was planning on being here in the beginning of the show, and he called me maybe about half an hour ago and said he's still in court for a different case. Things are running longer than expected. So I told him, hey, whenever you wrap up, just call us. So if halfway through the show I go, oh, Jim's on the phone, we're going to switch tracks. That's why. So looking forward to that. And then what we're going to talk about a little bit is the Libertarian State Convention, what that is, what's going on, because it's local. It's happening right here in Monroe County. And then towards the end of the show, I've got a fun little clip for you guys. You might have seen it already. The Simpsons basically burned upstate New York.
Trashed us.
Yeah. So we're going to hit all those things, and who knows, maybe a little bit more. Maybe we don't get to all of it.
Proving that we're not thin-skinned here in upstate New York. We can laugh at ourselves.
Yep. No, absolutely. And actually,
it keeps us from crying.
Yeah. And without jumping too far ahead, I guess some people were offended that didn't mention garbage plates. So, I mean, of all the things to be offended by, it's entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah, well, the writer's from around here or something, isn't he? He's from... Well, the guy that wrote The Simpsons, I think he's from up here, so he has firsthand knowledge of some of this stuff.
It could be. I mean, it's pretty good. It is pretty good.
It's clever.
Yeah, absolutely. So as always, guys, comment in with your questions, your ideas. Give us a call on the phone lines. That's 585-346-3000, or if you're out of the area, it's 866-552-1009. And I'm just going to jump right into talking about the Libertarian State Convention. That's happening this weekend. Starts tomorrow morning, I believe, at 9 a.m. It's going to be at the Radisson Airport Hotel on Jefferson Road. And you guys are probably thinking,
Tony on one.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. So we've actually got, so you guys are probably thinking, what is the Libertarian State Convention? And I've got a guy on the phone who's going to tell us all about it here in a minute. His name is Tony. And but before we jump into that, I'm gonna give myself a shameless plug, because tomorrow I'm teaching a class at the convention.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So what I'm gonna be teaching tomorrow is the kind of boring name for it is the business of running a campaign. But what it's gonna be, I'm gonna basically tell you whether you're an activist, whether you're an aspiring campaign manager, or somebody who's aspiring to run for office, whether local, countywide, statewide. I'm gonna take you through all the steps on how to get your campaign off the ground and get it running in New York State. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of hoops to jump through. So I like to say it's going to be a kickstart your campaign there. So Tony, tell us about tomorrow's event. What's going on?
We've got a jam-packed day tomorrow. The festivities start tonight at the Radisson Airport. We're going to have a social hour, which will probably be several hours, officially starting at 7, but I'm told that libertarians are showing up as early as 3. So it's going to be a good time, and it's a really informal occasion, open to the public, no charge to come to that. Tomorrow we've got the convention, which is primarily a business meeting for the Libertarian Party of New York. But this year, as you alluded to, is we're going to have illustrious guest speakers running some workshops, such as how to kickstart your campaign. There, I gave you a second plug, Andrew.
There you go.
We have other political-related ones, such as a workshop on political fundraising, one on social media for politics. So those are going to be very informative, even if you're not a libertarian, to hear. And then we have a couple of speakers. We have Jim Ostrowski, who I know is going to be on this show later. He's going to be a speaker in the afternoon tomorrow. And Larry Sharp is our lunchtime speaker. The convention starts at 9. Registration starts at 8, and it'll run all day.
Yeah. And so if people are interested in coming to convention, do they need to sign up somewhere? Should they register somewhere? Do they just kind of show up? I know last night people were asking if there was a dress code to attend. You want to lay out some of those details?
Sure, I can do that. Clearly, you can register at the door. The event itself is free to the public. If you want to eat food, there's a charge. It'll be $70 at the door. And even if you are showing up for free, we do ask for a donation because rooms aren't free and we need to pay for the space. So that's going to help us defray our costs. Dress code, I don't care as long as you're wearing clothes. I'm happy. It tends to be a semi-formal meeting. You'll have people there in shirts and ties. You'll have people there in dress coats and T-shirts. We are hoping that nobody shows up in less than that. Other than that, it really is a fun time. There's a lot of business that we do, and there are some serious aspects to this. But it really is an enjoyable time. It's a time to meet people from all over the state who may have similar liberty-minded views as you.
Awesome. Very good. And being that it's a statewide event, for those who don't know, every year there is a Libertarian Convention, and it's hosted all over the state. People travel from all over the state. Do you know who the furthest, who's coming from the furthest so far with pre-registration? How far are we reaching with this local event here?
With pre-registration, I have someone coming from Staten Island.
There you go.
And somebody coming from Nassau County, which is on Long Island.
Awesome.
So I think they'll be the longest.
Yeah, and I think I might have seen somebody from out of state might be coming too. So it'll be interesting to see if we do draw additional people from out of state. The convention's always a good time. It's a great time to network with people, a great time to meet people, meet candidates. There will probably be candidates there. There may or may not be some local candidates, maybe some candidates from other counties who are engaging with the party and want to learn about their campaign and how to be better candidates. So it really is a good time. And tonight, the social hour, I'm going to be there personally. So that I'm assuming is going to be a lot of fun. I know that some work was put in to get people there. And I heard that tomorrow night there might be a kind of an independent Taste of Rochester tour that will be open to people who are interested from the convention. So there'll be some information about that as well coming up.
Yeah, that information will be available at the convention. So the Taste of Rochester, one of our members is helping us put it on. He'll be bringing people to a few delicious tourist traps around the greater Rochester area.
Awesome, very cool. Tony, thank you so much. Anything else you want to leave people with before we take you off the air here?
I look forward to seeing everybody there, and please come out. And if you can't come, tell a friend to come.
There you go. Awesome, Tony. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So there you have it. The Libertarian State Convention tomorrow morning, 7 p.m. tonight if you want to get together for a social hour. And Tony's right. I want to say last year's convention, I don't recall when the social hour started, but I know it was like well into 1 o'clock in the morning before I left.
Is it tailgate parties before the actual?
Yeah. We just have a good time. Everybody gets together. It's good camaraderie and stuff like that. And there's always great stories. But it's a good time to just get together with, like you said, liberty-minded individuals who are sitting down, having a drink, talking about how to bring around just good, positive change in New York State.
Boy, do we need that.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can use that.
We have this, I just have this sense, I think a lot of people share this, that we're kind of like Hugo Chavez's, shadow is casting a long state of darkness over us. We just have like this totalitarian guy running the government. I don't think I'm overstating that either.
No. I think most people would agree with that statement. I agree, which is why I'm always surprised when I see Cuomo take another term. So, guys, we're going to take a real quick break here on Radio Free New York. And when we come back, we're going to go ahead and play that Simpson bit, and we're going to have some fun with it. We'll be back here on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A reminder from Upstate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Upstate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Upstate. If you ride with us. Google Upstate, Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York on the WYSL stations.
All right, guys, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and we just got done talking about the Libertarian State Convention that's happening tomorrow at the airport, the Radisson Airport Hotel, basically right in front of RIT on Jefferson Road there. Gonna be a good time. And the Simpsons did us a little favor. They put together a nice little bit to remind us why New York State needs libertarian candidates. so badly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this together for you guys and try to time it just right so that you guys can see the video at the same time as the audio. But essentially, I'm going to play, it's about 2 minutes and I think 17 seconds or something like that of this bit. And then for those of you listening on the radio who can't see this, once the bit's done, I'm going to kind of explain to you what we're seeing here. So let's go ahead.
A 1 and a 2 and a...
So where exactly are we going?
Niagara Falls.
Meh.
Paid for by points.
Points.
I spy a closed down Toys R Us. Aw.
I spy a bankrupt Sears and Roebuck.
Go!
I don't know about this game. I find it a little... Circuit City overrun by wild dogs.
Booyah! How can you booyah this country's decline?
Cheer up, honey. We're headed to the one place that can never decline because it was never that great. Upstate New York. Start watching Fox News. Stop watching your weight. There is no fancy part of it. Upstate New York. They're fond of their booze. Hot wing sauce is great. I'm gonna clock my heart in it. Upstate New York. I wanna sleep in a city that never wakes and find I'm fitting right in one of the gates. Par for the course, the Kodak plant's closed, but I'm along to stay and go on disability in upstate New York. Can't make it anywhere, but I can make it there. I love you so. Upstate New York. Benedict Arnold fought here, baby.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
Yep. So for those of you who are listening here on the air, I want to kind of, give you guys a little bit of visual of what was going on in there as you were listening to it. So basically, I think there's a little bit of underlying. What's the right word for it? There's an underlying message here that you definitely get and understand if you're in New York, that people may not really get if they're not from the area. So right in the beginning, when they open up and say, "Oh, we're going to Niagara Falls," and everybody's like, "Oh, meh." Like,
meh.
What is that? I think that really represents just how awful tourism is in New York State right now, especially upstate. Like, you can say, "Oh, I'm going to this place," and be like, whatever. It's not good. And tourism really drives the economy in some places, and that's something that we just clearly don't have.
Isn't that funny, the gaposis too that exists between reality and obviously with the view of Governor Headcase, excuse me, did I say that out loud? Cuomo and the rest of the government, they think the upstate New York is this tourist mecca. Oh, yeah. They spend all this money on TV ads and everything else.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's a great point. It's kind of funny because, and this is going kind of a different direction, but my wife being from Czech Republic, sometimes we go over there, we visit family, and everybody over there knows about Niagara Falls. They think it's like going to be the coolest thing ever.
Well, it is pretty cool.
It is, but it doesn't really draw people like you would think it would be. It's not really a tourist attraction that's like making the area boom.
Well, the Canadian side is very big.
Yes,
the Canadian side does really well. I mean, you can't get near on a nice summer day. You can't get near the Horseshoe Falls.
Yep. But, Cuomo's not running it over there.
Isn't that remarkable?
So, yeah. So
and Niagara Falls, New York is such a garden spot. Ay.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
It should be a huge tourist attraction. I mean, we're clearly doing things wrong here. So first 5 seconds, you know, there's the first, you know, thing there. Then the next thing is they're driving in the car. So they're in the car. It's a road trip. And the first thing they start noticing is, closed down businesses, bankrupt businesses, and, you know, everything shutting down, people leaving this state, which is something that we just can't seem to talk about enough. You know, we've lost 1 million people in the last decade. A million.
100,000 people a year.
Yeah,
and that's accelerating. But and the interesting thing is that the one area of the state that really is a tourist magnet, or at least historically has been, New York City.
Yep.
All of a sudden, their population trend has reversed, and they're starting to lose population.
They are, yeah. So they're no longer immune from this issue. They're now suffering from it too. The next piece here is maybe a little morbid, but it's when they drive by the Toys R Us and they go, shut down Toys R Us. And what there is a giraffe on a ladder, the Toys R Us giraffe with a noose around his neck. And he goes ahead and jumps off the ladder to try to kill himself.
Oh,
and yeah, it's really
the usual
morbid and terrible.
Simpsons dark touch.
Yep. But he actually had too much rope, so he just lands on the ground and kind of like goes, like, crap, I couldn't even get that done.
Couldn't even kill myself.
Yeah.
Not that, by the way, it's fair to blame the bankruptcy of Sears and Toys R Us on upstate New York.
Sure.
We had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Well, but people not having jobs, not being able to afford things, not being able to purchase stuff certainly contributes. I mean, the internet, certainly places like Amazon definitely have crushed retail. But there's just areas where it doesn't matter. They couldn't survive anyways. Nobody's got a job to buy their products. But I kind of saw the giraffe thing as interesting. I wasn't sure if they were trying to highlight like the fact that there's like an educational problem in New York, like, you know, being a giraffe, you got so much rope, you can't.
He's so dumb, you
can't even do it. You know, I don't know if they were going from that, or I don't know if they were trying to like hone in on the fact that New York State being such a welfare state, that there's like such a strong safety net that you literally can't fail. You know, in terms of like, as a person, if you fail, you just jump on welfare and you'll be better off than you were with a job.
Yeah, I mean, Homer sings a lyric there about I'll go on disability.
Yeah.
And that's actually, that rings true. Who doesn't know somebody on disability out there?
Yeah, that's true. Yep, probably everybody knows at least one person. I would bet. Yeah.
And that person, I want to point out, is probably fully functional in many cases. Now, I'm not trying to denigrate, you know, anybody who's legitimately a disability and needs the benefits, but there's an awful lot of people on disability. There's a lot of scamming going on out there, and you know who you are. So, you know, if the back brace fits, wear it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting that I didn't know until I actually found out from somebody who had disability. In New York State, once you've been given disability, you have it for life. And it cannot be taken back, even if they find after the fact that you are not disabled.
What if you heal?
So, yeah. They just
keep ladling the money your way.
You can leave the country and still continue to collect your disability, move to another state, and you will continue to maintain and collect your New York State disability no matter where you go.
Oh, who's that? The Nazi war criminal? She's a lady, and she was a prison guard in the Nazi concentration camp in Poland that was for women. And the name of it is escaping me.
It starts with an A. Not Outer Spock. Auschwitz, maybe? No,
it's Saarbrücken or something.
Okay.
Or Saarbrücken.
Yeah.
Anyway, in any case, she actually was deported. She was prosecuted for Nazi war crimes, and she's living in Austria in a retirement home where she collects U.S. Social Security checks.
Yeah. That, to me, it's a big issue. You know, there should be some sort of recourse, some sort of clawback, some sort of, you know, accountability. But, yeah, so I thought that was strange that you could get on disability in New York State, leave the state entirely, leave the country entirely, and collect that check. And there's basically no sort of recourse whatsoever. What I don't know is, say you left New York State with New York State disability, could you then go to, say, Florida and get Florida disability once you've established residency there as well? I don't know. But it seems like there's a big loophole in the system here. I don't know that that's what the Simpsons were getting at, but that's kind of what came to my mind as I saw this.
I just found it. It's Ravensbrück.
Okay, there you go.
And that was actually in Germany.
All right. So now what we've got here is the next piece for those who are listening to the radio, who didn't see this. You hear Homer kind of go in and say, we're going to the place that's just so bad that it can't get any worse. And that is upstate New York. And I agree. I actually talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago. We talked about this, where we talked about the MIT professor who says Rochester's posed for like a tech boom, and the economy is going to go up and it's going to explode. And my response to that was, well, the reason is we're so far on the bottom. We're scraping rock bottom. There's nowhere to go but to go up. So that's what's going on there in that piece of the song. And then while you watch this, there's like potholes everywhere. Like the cars are falling, the bridges are falling. There's like sinkholes. These trucks are going in. The traffic lights are falling off of it. And it's funny because as a native upstate New Yorker, I watch that clip and go, yeah, that's home. That's Rochester, New York. That's upstate New York. Absolutely. So, guys, we're going to take another break here, and when we come back, we'll jump through the rest of this, and then hopefully we'll get a call from Jim Ostrowski. If not, maybe we'll talk about something a little different. All right? We'll be back here on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
I'm Las from Action Towing and Service. The people really make this place incredible. I feel at home. I love what I do. I love the people that I work with. The owner of the business is actively involved. He is a veteran. We have a very close relationship with all of the staff. Every employee there is known by name, and we really, really work hard on giving that home feel, or the family feel. Please give us an opportunity to win your business. Come down and visit us at 275 Marketplace Drive, right off of Jefferson Road.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York on the WYSL station.
I apologize. We're feeling a little bit discombobulated here. We were checking into a possible incident right across the road from the radio station. Yeah. Well, everything seems to be okay, but it had us momentarily distracted. Sorry about that.
Yeah, threw us off a little bit. Looks like somebody, their mower might have tipped over, and we didn't see a person. We didn't know what was going on with them, if they were under the mower or what.
There's a big zero-turn mower over there, and it's kind of tipped over at a crazy angle and running, and nobody in evidence
around. Yeah,
we were a little concerned.
Yeah. So we're back here on Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and before we jump back into the Simpsons bit here, I want to just welcome a bunch of you guys to the show. I know I missed that in the beginning here, so I'm just going to run down some names that I see here in the live feed. Welcome, you guys. We've got Sarah, Yolana, Dan, Michelle, Robert, John, and John, two different Johns in here. Sam, Jay, another John. Today's the day of Johns. Michelle, Jason, Tony, Michael, and Led. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here on the show. And John says, nice shirt, Andrew. So you guys can probably only see the top half. So for those of you who are watching, I'm going to stand up here. I've got my Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Larry Sharp shirt on today.
With the outline of the New York State map, and then you got, what is it, a Libertarian Torch logo?
The Libertarian Torch, which has got the eagle in it as well. So, I felt that was fitting after listening to the Simpsons bit. I was listening to it, and I'm like, if more people in New York had voted for Larry Sharp and Larry Sharp was our governor today, maybe that Simpson bit would look a little different. Not saying that everything could be fixed in such a short period of time by any means, but certainly it could have been a little different, and I really wish it is different, but unfortunately that is not the case.
Why couldn't the Simpsons have sung a little bit about Cuomo? Just get a little Cuomo jab in there.
Yeah.
Like a mafia guy in a great big stretch limo,
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll get a little more involved. We're seeing the thumbs up. Looks like the guy with the lawnmower is safe and sound, and it's no longer there.
Everything is fine. It's okay.
For those of you who are just joining us here in this part of the show, what we did is we played this 2-minute Simpson bit about upstate New York that came out, I think was it Tuesday maybe or something like that? It's
early in the week.
Yeah. It came out early this week. And it's just really just poking jabs at upstate New York. And sadly, I don't think anybody can dispute it. I don't know. I didn't see anything in there that was like, no, that's not New York.
Look, the truly great comedy almost always, not always, but almost always comes at the expense of somebody.
Yep.
I mean, what the really funny stuff is where they make fun of other folks.
Sure.
Because we all just naturally do that. I mean, Don Rickles made a career out of that, right?
Sure. Absolutely. So where we left off in the last break, we made it about halfway through this Simpson bit here. So where we left off, they're driving, through what appears to be probably like 104 or something like that on the way to Buffalo, and there's just giant craters in the road and like semi trucks falling into sinkholes and bridges just crumbling, and the overhead traffic lights just shattering and exploding, and typical upstate New York. Then they switched it a little bit to some experiences in upstate New York. So the first one was they started talking about everybody loving their beer in upstate New York. And I gotta say, craft breweries have exploded up here. That wasn't necessarily jab, I don't think, at New York, but maybe I don't live anywhere else. So maybe they look at us and go, you guys really like your craft beer.
Well, that's Cuomo's idea of that's the kind of industry he wants. He wants wineries, he wants breweries, and he wants distilleries. So, we are, it does kind of lump us into this, we're the alcohol capital.
Oh, there you go. So maybe we're the drunk capital of the United States. Maybe that's what it is. That makes sense.
Certainly the pothole capital.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
absolutely.
the roads are awful.
Yeah. I think I saw on the way here a 4-bedroom, 2-bath pothole. It's available for rent, free Wi-Fi.
I saw one little Chinese guy sticking his head out.
Yeah. So the potholes are terrible. They started talking about what they call wing sauces. I think the rest of us know it as buffalo sauce and buffalo wings, and they actually had a picture of Anchor Bar up there too. But that was so that was interesting. Then there was a sign of Utica, New York, actually. So somehow they're going through Utica, and I think it was a population counter, and you just see it going down by the thousands. It's just dropping, like crashing, like the stock market or something.
That's where that guy's from. He's from the guy that wrote that. The writer for The Simpsons is from Utica.
Oh, is that? Well, there you go. That's why.
So it's a special little kiss for his hometown.
Yep. There you go. Then the next scene is kind of a Bills stadium with just 2 people sitting there, with their Go Bills flags, and then this other one. And I didn't catch all the things that were in this, but when he says he's going to go on disability, he's driving in the car. He throws up the handicap sign on there, and then you see like a pill bottle parading across the street that says opioids. You see a lottery ticket. I didn't catch what the last one was, but certainly what we have right now is a serious opioid issue. We've got a really serious opioid issue in upstate New York, especially in Rochester. I think it's Clifford Avenue in the city of Rochester. It's either Clifford or Clinton Avenue is considered the heroin capital of not the state, but the country.
Well, Rochester's it's a big drug distribution hub.
Yeah.
And what we have here is I-390, which comes up from I-86, used to be Route 17, the southern tier, and it goes up to Rochester. And we have this constant procession of people getting arrested on 390 in Livingston County because it's kind of like the Silk Road. I mean, this is the route by which narcotics are smuggled and distributed down to the southern tier for Elmira and Hornell and Jamestown, Salamanca. It all comes out of Rochester.
Yeah. So they, the Simpsons, they've got a pretty good pulse on what's going on here in upstate New York. Now, the one joke I didn't get, and I was hoping maybe you would know, he said there's a thing of him with the mayor of Oriskany across him, and he said, I can't get anything done in life, but I can be the mayor or something like that. So you know who that's in reference to? Maybe somebody in the comments or somebody could call in and let us know what that joke was. That was the one I didn't get. I wasn't sure. That must be oh, yep. Comment in here. Clinton Corridor is the heroin capital.
Right.
And, Michelle says opioids are everywhere, though, not just here. No, that's very true. We just happen to have a very severe issue up here compared to other areas. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the mayor of Oriskany joke was. Maybe somebody can comment in. But, yeah, so all of that being said, that's why I'm wearing this. Don't blame me. I'm voting Larry Sharp shirt because it felt extremely, extremely fitting for this bit here. And, when I look at this, there's a lot of issues in here that Larry Sharp was talking about last year. And Larry Sharp brought the voice to, and actually brought in some really, really good alternatives to resolving these issues without using taxpayer dollars. And I think that that's something that we'll talk a little bit more about. But before we move on to that piece, I just want to bring up the fact that people got upset with this video, this bit, but not at all because none of it's true. In fact, most people are like, Yeah, no, this is totally true. This is how bad it is. Like, for real. They were upset there were no garbage plates in there.
Yeah.
That's, which is, I think that...
How about White Hots?
Yeah, White Hots, they didn't have buffalo sauce, right? They had wing sauce, So I think, it was kind of funny that people look and go, yeah, our roads are crumbling. Our businesses are going out of business. Our families are leaving our state. It's kind of lonely here because everybody's leaving. Things are in decay and falling apart. But geez, you got the local food wrong. That's what people are upset about.
I got a possibility here on Oriskany. I mean, I don't know if this is specifically what the bit was referring to, but the mayor of Oriskany had the post for 30 years, and he just retired on April 9th. And Oriskany is where that writer is from. He's
from there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little town kind of like between Utica and Rome.
Okay.
And prior to that, he was a village trustee for 10 years. So he worked for Oriskany for 40 years.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So there must be, my guess is then that the mayor in Oriskany, there must be some town joke or, something like that you couldn't get a job elsewhere or something. But, pretty focused joke. So all in all, I think The Simpsons did a pretty good job of this. And I'm disappointed.
It's true. I mean, most of it's
that we have to say that. I mean, they hit the nail on the head. They certainly brought it all together. They showcased how bad things are going here. And so here's looking at us and every single one of you.
Well, I think it's important while we laugh at this to note that how accurate it is, and also how we had nothing to do with it, other than the fact that we reelect these nitwits in Albany.
Yeah. It's a big problem. All right, guys, we're going to take one more break here on Radio Free New York, and we'll be back in a little bit.
You're listening to the voice of liberty. WYSL. AM 1040 Avon, Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, FM 95.5 Spencerport, and WYSL1040.com everywhere.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Radio Free New York on WYSL. AM 1040, FM 92.1, and FM 95.5 West.
All right, guys, we are back here on Radio Free New York. And what we've been talking about a whole bunch of stuff.
Chairman one.
Oh, look at that. Perfect. So as we talked about earlier in the show, Jim Ostrowski, who is Ben Wassell's attorney.
Second Amendment attorney extraordinaire.
Yep. Also a libertarian.
Yes,
so
very true.
Important to point out there. Jim's joining us here on the show just to talk a little bit about the case. Let us know what this means for us here in New York. Jim, how are you?
Hey, great. Sorry I was late. I was stuck in federal court most of the day.
No, that's okay. Thank you for making the time to join us on the show.
Well, I'm glad to be here. On the case, we raised a lot of issues, including the Second Amendment and actually some due process, jury instructions, and lots of other things. But the court chose a narrow jurisdictional ground for decision. But look, it's a complete 100% win, because when they come after our people, we got to protect them and make them whole, and we've done that. We've gotten rid of Ben's felony conviction, and hopefully they won't try to any further appeals, but we're taking steps to be prepared for whatever things they might pull at this point.
That's awesome. So I know some people have asked, does that mean that when he applies for a job and goes through a background check, will that felony be like totally gone and expunged from his record, or is that something that's going to take some time?
It will eventually, but sooner rather than later. I'm actually working on the paperwork now, and then we technically have to go back to the county court, and the county court issues appropriate orders to seal records and vacate any paperwork that's in the county court. But it takes a few weeks, but yes, the answer is yes.
Awesome. No, that's wonderful news. And so if I understand this correctly, the court, I don't want to say they took the easy way out, but essentially instead of making a ruling on whether or not the SAFE Act is constitutional or unconstitutional, they chose to take the route of the AG, the Attorney General's office, essentially acted unlawfully and outside of their jurisdiction by taking on the case?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And, there's nothing unusual about it. The court's going to take a narrow procedural ground. It's kind of a judicial restraint thing. But the issues we did raise, were a factor, because if the court hadn't taken that procedural way to resolve the case, they would have had to deal with all these things. And frankly, it would have been litigated for years. And various statutes and procedures and practices in New York might have been in jeopardy. So it's kind of a give and take thing. You win some things, you lose some things, but the bottom line is we got not only the conviction reversed, but at this point no retrial and the indictment dismissed. So it's really a big victory, and then these issues can be litigated on another occasion for other clients if necessary.
Yeah, I was actually sitting in there in the courtroom, and I saw the state attorney general's office brought up some language that I was at the time unfamiliar with. And he said that, these weapons are considered dangerous and unusual weapons. And I think he said something like not in common use. And so I had to do some Googling because the way he emphasized that, it felt like he was trying to reference something significant. And I saw similar language come up in a court case that was recently ruled on stun guns in New York State, where they ultimately decided that the ban on stun guns was unconstitutional because there's something like more than 4 million of them manufactured in the United States. So is that potentially open up things, do you think, for AR-15 style rifles to be protected under a similar ruling?
Well, I think I think in a decision by Judge Kavanaugh, he did argue for that, and we cited that in our brief, and that may be why he was trying to argue that they weren't in common use. So, I mean, there's a number of theoretical approaches to the Second Amendment, and one of them is levels of scrutiny, but Judge Kavanaugh looks at a historical or common use approach. But the lawyer from Heller, and I just can't remember his name at the moment, he argued that some technologically new weapons, but weapons which fulfill a similar function from the weapons that over the years have been protected, should also be protected. It doesn't bar further technological advances. The Second Amendment.
Yeah. Awesome. So I know some people are wondering, with this case specifically, since they kind of ruled on a procedural issue, does this change things for people in New York, or since the court took a very narrow procedurally rule, does that mean things haven't really changed much in terms of the SAFE Act, or are there implications of change?
Well, the same issues we raised can be raised in any other case, but they weren't ruled on in this case, so they're not going to be helped other than in the sense that we've shown that when they come after innocent citizens, that there's a group that will rise to their defense, and it was a group because a number of people made small donations. It literally allowed me to undertake this case, and also we had 30 or 40 people either in the courtroom or in the courthouse, and believe me, the elected appellate division judges, because they're all elected, and then they're appointed by the governor to be on that quote division, they took note of the people there. And that it just shows that we will defend our people, and whether or not a theoretical precedent is set, we have to defend our people. The cause is Ben Wassel, as well as the Second Amendment. But again, all the theoretical arguments that were made can be recycled and will be recycled and made in future cases, and we will get rulings because just in recent months, the momentum seems to be swinging to our side in the lower courts. They had been against us for a number of years after Heller and McDonald, but it seems to be swinging again in our favor.
Oh, that's great. And you know what else is really good to hear? I try to talk a lot about how much showing up matters. And so you saying there that the judges noticed, and they took notice that the courtroom was full, that's just confirmation, I think, for all the listeners and all the people who did make donations, people who took off from work, people who showed up there. I know some people drove a long ways. Showing up matters.
No, it had an impact, and I had another Second Amendment trial where I asked people to come, and there was just a few people in the back of the courtroom. And unfortunately, we did not prevail in that case. It was really a jury nullification case. It was a tough case. But any future case, and in fact, when I believe Ben is going to go back to county court, not exactly sure of the procedure, but that's what the law seems to call for. And I want there to be a packed courtroom there, even though he's already won the case. And every future time they come after one of our people, the courtroom has to be packed, the courthouse has to be packed, and there should be people outside who couldn't get in too. All acting very peacefully and civilly and politely and following the court's rules. But just your presence there, I mean, the Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to public trial. Well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for every one of the Bill of Rights. Basically, there's a concrete historical reason in addition to the philosophical reason. We used to have private trials. Wow, you don't want to have a private trial, believe me.
Yeah.
They called them the Star Chamber. We all learned about it in school. No, that was a very horrible thing. So it's really important to exercise that right to a public trial. and have people at every event. You don't have to go every day, but we can do shifts and so on. But there should be enough people to pack courtrooms every future time they come after one of our people.
Awesome. Well, Jim, thank you so much for joining us. And I will be seeing you tomorrow, actually.
Yes, you will. I think I'm going to be giving a speech at about 3:00 before I go to a track meet also in Rochester. My son's running.
There you go. Awesome. Jim, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. Have a great weekend.
Yep, you too.
Jim Ostrowski, ladies and gentlemen, and you hear him frequently here on our flagship station, WYSL in Rochester.
Yeah. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'm just going to leave you guys with tomorrow. If you guys want to hang out with me, Larry Sharp, Jim Ostrowski, all of us are going to be speaking. We're going to be teaching, give you guys some tips, give you guys some motivation, get yourself a lunch if you want, see what the Libertarian Party is about. You don't even have to be registered Libertarian. Just pop over, check it out, right? Be interested. Yeah, see what we're all about. It'll be a good time. So that is at the Radisson Airport Hotel tomorrow, and
right over by RIT there.
Yep, right by RIT. Or you can swing by tonight sometime around 7. I'll be there for a social hour. Guys, on Monday, I'll tell you guys how everything went over the weekend. Have a good one on Radio Free New York.